I think a question I need to start asking myself a lot more is, what do I think will happen? And I've only realised that, I suppose I've known it in other forms for a while, but in terms of the clarity of which I know it now, today, Saturday the 28th of April, the clarity with which I know it now has only become apparent through Veda. Because I had coffee with a mate earlier on this afternoon, and we were reflecting on yesterday's episode where I outlined stroke revealed that my ambitions as a writer are, I believe the word I used was global. And I was talking to my mate about how uneasy I was about releasing that video, and he asked me why I was uneasy. And I said, I don't know, which was the honest answer. I don't know. I've never felt comfortable. In fact, I mentioned it underneath yesterday's video, episode 23. I think it was episode 23. I mentioned underneath the video, if you read the description box, I've never felt comfortable talking about my hopes, my aspirations, etc. I know I don't feel comfortable, but I've never understood why. So I was speaking to my friend and he said why? I said, I don't know. What do you think? And his answer was frighteningly correct. The minute he said it, I was like, oh, that is the reason. That is exactly the reason. And he said, well, it's obvious. You're scared of being, not only you're scared of failing, but you're scared of failing publicly. Because you've put it out there now. You've put it out there what you want. While it's in your head, if that doesn't happen, the only person that will know will be you. So there'll be no laughing, no pointing from the outside world. It'll only be in CK's head. However, now it's out there. As far as you're concerned, this isn't the reality, CK. As far as you're concerned, now there are people watching, measuring whether you accomplish it. The reality of it is nobody gives a fuck, but I get that. But the minute he said that, I was like, yeah, shit, you're right. You're absolutely right. And he said, the only reason I know that's the reason you don't like talking about that is that's the exact reason I don't fucking like talking about it as well. I thought, mate, we're creators. That's why we don't want to talk about things, because, you know, publicly failing, who wants that? And I don't even think this is specific to creators anymore. Maybe it's just humans per se. I always admire those people who just don't give a fuck. Maybe I give a fuck too much. I don't know. So going back to me saying a question I need to ask myself more is, what do I think will happen? Like, what do I think will happen after I put that video out yesterday and I was so nervous? Like, what do I think will happen? The irony of it is, I understand how content works. I understand that somebody watches a CK video, have a giggle, enjoy it for a couple of minutes, then move on. That's the nature of content, especially nowadays when there's just content everywhere. Nobody has time to fester and chew over anything. Get your fill, move on. So before I mention it in this video, I suspect all of you had even forgotten what I said in yesterday's episode. So I find it alarming that I'm aware of the fact that nobody gives a shit and nobody even remembers, yet I'm still concerned. I just find it bizarre. But this is how my mind works. And the reason I'm talking about this is, following my coffee with my mate, I was walking home thinking I have nothing for Veda today. And that caused a great deal of discomfort, because immediately I was thinking, well, you better fucking make something, mate, because you're not going to talk to the camera for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes with nothing, no entertainment. So figure some shit out. Just to prove how desperate I got, remember the list of you remember my safety net list, the things I could talk about if ever I got stuck. I was going through that and I was thinking, oh. I remember a lot of people saying we'd quite like to see your top 5 photos of 2017. That is something I have no appetite for discussing, but a lot of people want to see it. And the reason I have no appetite for discussing it is, like, in the interest of full disclosure, talking about what makes a photo great or what makes a photo popular or whatever doesn't interest me. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm the guy that just enjoys the fun I have with my clients and the friendships I make through it. The mechanics of how I take a great photo just doesn't interest me. I can take a great photo, but talking about it, not that bothered. So I got that desperate about today. I was thinking, should I just do the photo thing? I mean, I might still do the photo thing. I don't know, but I was like, ugh. Then, once again, I was thinking, well, if you just actually speak about not having any content for today, what's going to happen? And the answer I was coming up with, and again, I'm just going to put it out there, the answer I was coming out with, well, to be honest, CK, like, people pay you to create content, whether that's personal branding, whether that's video, whether that's photography, whether that's copywriting, whether that's designing and distributing press releases. So are you saying you're going to go on and say, I've got nothing, I'm afraid. Mr. Content has nothing. My next question was, well, if you did that, what's going to happen? And then you start thinking, oh, well, you know, suddenly your credibility's shot. Suddenly people who have been coming to your channel for a laugh and a giggle, they've come and they've got nothing. And then my next question was, okay, so if that happens, then what? I was thinking, well, then all of a sudden, you know, I feel like I've let myself down, I've let them down. And my next question was, okay, and then what? Well, then they'll just, you know, stop returning and go and find someone else. Okay, and then what? And that's literally where it ended. But the interesting thing is that all the actual first 3 steps I just went through are very unlikely. You put out a video that's not great. Like, basically what I'm saying is, who cares? I just need to stop caring is the fundamental thing I'm saying here. And it reminds me of when I did the London challenge, when I was walking through the streets of London, telling people I love them. If you remember in that video, I said, and I wonder if that is speaking to the heart of humans, that we just kind of make shit up in our own heads where the reality is a complete different thing. I don't know. Like, the perception and the reality, there's a gulf in between. An absolute gulf. And my perception of this video, and I've got nothing to say apart from this, is, oh God, but suddenly, oh, you know, they'll not be blah, 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 blah. The reality is, nobody cares! So, ultimately, I just think I need to start asking myself is, what do you think will happen? It's really interesting. But also, the reason I'm happy to make this video comes back to what I said 2 episodes ago, which would be episode 21, when I said, when I look back on this 30-day challenge, I hope it reflects the reality. And I was walking home having had coffee with my friend thinking, okay, you're going to have to find some energy, CK. You're going to have to do your classic CK opening, find some energy, just deliver it. But that would have just been a load of utter bollocks. It would have been an act. It would have been me turning on CK. Whereas, to be honest with you, all I've wanted to do today, especially following yesterday's episode going up a day late because I had software problems, I've just been knackered. So I was like, So, yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, for me, I want to look back on this series and actually at least have one representation of the times when I couldn't figure anything out. But that's just one reason I think this video is important. The main reason, I want to read something for you. I want to read an Instagram comment I received yesterday from Peter Gurgley. No, this was a YouTube comment from Peter Gurgley placed under yesterday's video. He has written, "You've done a great job with this challenge. I missed your videos when you stopped making YouTube content." I've mentioned pre-Veda, there was a long gap of me not making video content, and I think Peter's alluding to that gap. As far as these videos have been, I can't wait to see how they will affect your career, future content, and readiness for new challenges over the coming months. Interestingly, thank you, Peter. Interestingly, of course, I'd be interested to see how this challenge shapes me as a creator, but actually, I have become more fascinated with how it will shape me as a human. Certainly within the context of, like, my weird psychology of always wanting to be in control and putting stuff out there, which is as I want it to be, not this. So, yes, Peter, I too am keen to see how it will develop me creatively, professionally, whatever. But, you know, fundamentally, the biggest surprise of this whole challenge is now I'm reflecting on how it will affect me as a human. And I'm hoping it will affect me as a human better and just make me less concerned with bullshit questions, less concerned with bullshit generally, that in reality isn't even a thing. This video is just weird, but what do I think will happen? I'm going to drink some tea now.